Imagine your next iPhone connecting to a satellite as effortlessly as it connects to 5G. No aiming at the sky, no standing outside searching for a signal, and no only in emergencies limitation. According to the latest leaks and reports, that's exactly the direction Apple may be, heading with its next wave of iPhones, expected in September. And the surprising hero of this story isn't a new camera lens or a flashy design change, it's a modem. Now, stay with me, because this modem rumor could quietly become one of the biggest iPhone upgrades in years. So here's what's being reported. Apple's upcoming lineup, expected to include the iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and Apple's first foldable iPhone, possibly branded as the iPhone Ultra, could ship with a brand new Apple-made modem called the Apple C2. And if that name doesn't sound exciting yet, what it might enable definitely is. Because the Apple C2 modem isn't just about faster cellular data. The big claim is that it could support 5G over satellite using a technology called 5G NR-NTN. Let's break that down in plain English. NR means new radio, basically modern 5G standards. NTN means non-terrestrial networks, meaning satellites. Put them together, and you're looking at a system designed to blend traditional 5G connectivity with satellite coverage, so your phone can stay connected even when cell towers can't help you. That's the dream. Seamless, automatic off-grid connectivity, and if Apple pulls it off, the iPhone could stop treating satellite features like a last resort emergency tool and start using satellites as a normal, everyday fallback network. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. This Apple C2 modem is also rumored to replace Qualcomm modems, at least in some models or regions, which is a major shift. Apple has been working for years to bring more of its core hardware in-house, and the modem is one of the final major pieces. If the C2 is real and ready, it's not just an upgrade, it's Apple gaining deeper control over performance, power efficiency, and features that depend on tight integration between hardware and software, and satellite connectivity is exactly the kind of feature that benefits from that integration. So what would this look like for you in real life? Right now, satellite on iPhone is useful, but limited. In most cases, you have to deliberately activate it, follow on-screen directions, and physically point your phone toward a satellite. It works, but it can feel like a special situation feature, not something you'd rely on every week. With 5G NR-NTN support, the iPhone could potentially do something much more natural. When you lose cellular coverage, it could automatically switch over to satellite for basic connectivity, without you doing anything. No, point the phone at the sky, no. Stepping away from trees or buildings and hoping the connection holds. Just coverage. And that's why some analysts are calling this kind of upgrade a game changer. Now, let's talk about the comparison everyone is making. Starlink. You've probably heard about T-Mobile's satellite service powered through Starlink partnerships, and how it aims to bring coverage to dead zones. There's been a lot of hype around the idea that phones could connect from basically anywhere, even without traditional signal, especially in rural areas, on road trips, hiking trails, and places where towers are non-existent. A key part of the excitement around the Starlink carrier approach is that it promises convenience, connectivity that works from your pocket, not a complicated aim and wait process. But here's an important detail that gets misunderstood a lot. That doesn't mean Starlink is installed on iPhones. What it means is your carrier, like T-Mobile, can enable access to satellite coverage as part of your plan. And if you're not on that carrier, you don't automatically get that benefit. You'd need to be on the specific supported network or sign up for the right satellite add-on. So if Apple's next iPhones truly support 5G NR-NTN at the modem level, it could open the door to broader satellite experiences, potentially across more carriers, more regions, and more situations. And that brings us to another major point: Apple's current satellite partner. Apple has been working with Globalstar for its satellite services so far, especially for emergency SOS and related features. So even if the iPhone becomes more satellite capable, it doesn't automatically mean Apple is switching to Starlink. The likely outcome, at least initially, is that Apple expands and improves satellite connectivity through its existing ecosystem and partnerships. In other words, the iPhone could become dramatically better at satellite communication, without ever mentioning Starlink on the box. So what's the big benefit of 5G NR-NTN for normal people? It's not just about emergencies. Think about the moments when your phone fails you. You're driving and GPS still works. But you can't send a message. You're traveling and your local network coverage is spotty. You're at a festival, a stadium, or a crowded city block where the network collapses. You're hiking, camping, or working in remote areas and you just want basic communication. In those moments, you don't need 1 Gbps downloads, you need reliability. If Apple can make satellite feel like a natural extension of your network, something that activates quietly in the background, it could turn satellite from a niche checkbox feature into something people genuinely depend on. And if it works smoothly, it could change how we think about phone coverage entirely. Instead of asking, "Do I have bars?" The future could look more like, "Which connection is my phone using right now, cell tower or satellite?" Now let's be realistic, because there are limitations and questions, big ones. First, satellite bandwidth is limited compared to cellular networks. Even with modern standards, satellite connections are not the same as regular 5G. So if you're imagining streaming 4K video from the middle of nowhere, that's not the most likely early use case. The more realistic near-term benefits are texting and messaging, basic voice or low bandwidth calling features, depending on implementation emergency. Services location sharing, light data fallback for essential communication. Second, pricing and carrier support matters. Even if the iPhone is technically capable, the real-world experience may depend on your region, your carrier, your plan, local regulations, Apple's own service structure. Third, battery impact. Satellite communication can use more power than normal cellular connections, depending on how it's handled. That's why an Apple-built modem could matter. A tighter integration could make it more efficient and more intelligent about when to use satellite and when not to. And finally, availability. Even if this feature is ready, Apple could still limit it to certain models, like the Pro line, or reserve the best satellite features for the foldable iPhone Ultra if that device is positioned as a premium do-everything flagship. So the rumored lineup matters here. If Apple launches iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max and a foldable iPhone, possibly iPhone Ultra, and these devices debut the Apple C2 modem, then this becomes more than a small spec upgrade. It becomes a platform shift. Because once the modem supports 5G NR-NTN, Apple can build software features on top of that for years. Smarter automatic connectivity, switching, better messaging, reliability and weak coverage improved, emergency response tools, potential new Apple satellite services, deeper integration with iOS connectivity, settings and carrier partnerships that expand what coverage means. And remember, Apple doesn't usually market modems. Apple markets experiences. So if this leak is accurate, don't expect Apple to spend 10 minutes on stage talking about NR-NTN. Expect a simple line like, "Now your iPhone can stay connected in more places than ever." And then they show a person sending a message from the middle of nowhere. No effort. No instructions, no aiming at the sky. That's the kind of shift people actually feel. So here's the big takeaway. The Apple C2 modem rumor isn't just about Apple replacing Qualcomm. It's about Apple potentially making satellite connectivity seamless. It's about turning off grid communication from a special emergency feature into an everyday safety net. And it's about a future where your phone doesn't just rely on towers. It intelligently uses whatever network is available, including satellites. If Apple delivers that experience reliably, it really could be one of the most meaningful iPhone upgrades in years. Not because it's flashy, but because it changes what your phone can do when you need it most. Now I want to know what you think. Would seamless satellite connectivity actually matter to you day to day, or is it still a nice-to-have feature? And if Apple launches a foldable iPhone Ultra alongside the iPhone 18 Pro models, which one would you pick and why?